Welcome, guys. It's time for another retro anime first impression video. Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's been a while since I've done a retro anime first impression video. I found this new app where I can watch retro anime on, and I'll probably make a video about it later on here on my channel or on my app channel. But anyways, I definitely have enjoyed this first episode of this anime, which is called Requiem from the Darkness. For those who don't know, I'm into horror anime. That's probably one of my most favorite series, or genres to watch. This one is from 2003. It has 13 episodes, and the first episode was pretty weird and freaky, and it did a good job. I will say you can tell the animation from today, from 17 years ago, is completely different. But they did it. They still did a good job with it, and I really did enjoy it. Now, before I continue with my first impressions, a few things, guys. If you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hopefully, by now we've reached 4K. I don't know. This is pre-recorded. I am out in vacation, so hopefully this arrives to you guys on time. If you want to further support my channel, there is social media. There's also a link where you guys can buy some cheap manga and anime at a very reasonable price. They always have specials, so go check them out. Also, follow me on Twitch and join my Discord. I think that is it, other than go watch my first impressions on retro anime in my channel. The reason I started this series of retro animes is because there is so many good old animes out there that people just are not watching anymore, because either they started watching anime a year or two or maybe 3 years ago when the fad of anime started to bump up in the youth, or because you just weren't raised in that age. For example, for me, a lot of these series, I just wasn't raised watching these series because they were considered mature series, or not for my age, and I was still a little kid. So now I can go back and watch some of these series and enjoy them as an adult. We follow our protagonist in this story, Momosuke, and if we ignore the first scene, which I'll get back to that, if we ignore the first scene, the story essentially follows Momosuke, who is this author who wants to do 100 ghost stories, and essentially he is going out there to do research. That's kind of basically what he's doing. He finds himself lost in these mountains, and he ends up in this shop. And there's four other people in this shop. There's three men, and then he ends up walking into a room where there's a woman inside as well. From what we hear, the owner of the place is essentially just taking care of the place, because now it's his home. It's not. It used to be a store. It used to be a place where people came in, but now it's just nothing, right? So he is taking care of the place, and he's allowing these other people to stay there for refuge. But that's about it. From what we understand throughout the first part of the episode, is that most of these people are strangers to each other, but we figured out that they're not. We follow this story, and essentially they start hearing sounds in the building, and we hear that this little boy had this talent, and essentially because he had this talent, the owner of the place changed his will and said that when he retired or passed away, everything was going to go to this boy because he basically had talent. He was going to do a better job than him. That's what most people sometimes do. I mean, for the most part, you pass on the baton to someone that you think will do a better job. You don't pass the baton to someone that, just because you like them. But there's someone who didn't like that, who was first in line, but now is not, and decided to kill this little boy. Now, this is the first scene that we see at the beginning of the episode. We just see this boy, and how they add horror to it is that they make the anime fall in this animation of where it seems like they're drugged, so everything is kind of wavy. they're kind of lost in their thoughts, and we see this scene play a few times throughout the episode, because one of the guys that's actually in the building is the guy that killed the boy, and he essentially is going through remorse and all this other stuff, as well as anger, and he still has all these emotions with him. But essentially, the boy was doing his job, and the guy comes with a big stone and smashes his head. The guy essentially dies at the end of the episode. He gets to a point where he goes kind of insane. He does see the boy a few times, and it's a weird episode. But he ends up dead. And what we find out is that two of the four guys, so not the one that killed him and not Momosuke, two of the guys who their names are Nagamimi and Mitiachi, and then the girl, Ojin, all three of them are kind of like spirits or people that go and calm down spirits. I don't know. they're essentially like some type of demon cult or something. But Momosuke at the end of the episode is like, "Who are you guys?" They're like, "You probably just want to forget what happened this whole night." And he's like, "This is the first time of many times that I met with this group." And essentially, this group is, I guess, going out there, exercising. That's the word I was trying to reach. Exercising, I guess, spirits that are not yet calmed down, or that are still hurting people. So in this case, they were hurting this guy who essentially was going over the whole, he killed a kid because he wanted this place, and now this place is a dump, is ruined. No one goes there anymore, and now he's left with nothing. And so he basically was going insane, and now he's dead. So what I liked about this one was, in part, the animation. Like I said, they went to the kind of like state of drugs. Everything was wavy. It showed you that something was going to happen. But also the simplistic of animation when there's blood and stuff like that. It was really well done. I did actually like it. I think if this were to come out today, the same animation, I think there still would be a group that would actually appreciate that animation. Now, there would be a bigger group, I would say, that are used to the great graphics that we have now, that I'd be like, this is just crap. But people are still doing low-end animes, stuff that you don't see on the big screens, like on Crunchyroll and stuff like that. Small one-episode animes that are done in this type of animation that I've appreciated, and I'm like, man, these are pretty decent. So what I like is it's story based, and I've said this quite a bit. It's story based, and the animation doesn't take away of the story, actually adds to the story. For when it came out, 2003, I think it was a pretty well decent story. I would give this one probably I want to say 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it deserves the 8 yet. I want to see the rest of it and see if it does deserve the 8, or maybe lower it. My anime list ranks it at 7.15, which is not too bad. Only 30,000 members have seen it, which, it's still quite a bit of people. But 7.15, I would say that's fair. That's fair. I was leaning to a 7 or a 7.5. So 7.15 is kind of in the middle, not really in the middle, but kind of in the middle. So I agree with the members so far, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's any more drama, or if it slows down towards the middle. Sometimes they do that, and I hate when they do that, but we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Give some love to this video. Comment, like, and share. Tell me what I should be watching. If you have a favorite old anime that you think that I would appreciate liking, let me know. There's some that I'm avoiding because they're like 40 episodes or 100 episodes long, but I will get to them eventually. Thank you guys for loving support again, and like always, don't be strangers. See you guys.